Okay, I'm going to move on to the next segment, career and lifelong learning. Now, the focus of this segment is on your possible career path, right? What is it? What can you do upon graduation? Of course, just now we mentioned about further education. Some students may decide to further their education by joining a foreign or local university, or some may do their professional qualification, right? Now, possible career pathway are as follows. We talk about accounting, financial accountant versus management accountant. A financial accountant will do the monthly financial reports for the company, for example. A management accountant will do analysis of the budgets of the company and help internal managers to make decisions. We can also talk about internal auditor as well as external auditor. We can also have tax consultant looking at taxation of the company, corporate tax or individual tax. Now, this is an overview. We mentioned about what kind of professional qualification. It could be ACCA, CIMA, or ICAW. Local uni will include NTU, NUS, SMU, SIT. Alright, so these are some possible avenues that the student can continue upon graduation. Now, just now Ms. Cole also mentioned to you what you're supposed to do, right? So your CPP module, those taking in this semester will need to do a reflection. We will post up the slides for you. For those of them doing in October semester, you will review these slides again, alright, in your October semester, together with the videos that we have recorded today, alright? Okay, I'm going to move on to the next segment, which is academic matters and academic results. Okay, this is something very important, right? How do you do well in this course, right? How do we grade our students? I'm sure this is in your mind, right? Everybody wants to do well. Alright? Of course, we want you to be passionate learners, taking responsibility of your learning. But importantly, you must also take note. What are the key academic criteria, right? How to score. Okay, let's run through with you. What kind of assessment do we have in the course? We have tests. Tests are individual tests. Alright, common tests, for example. We have projects. Projects can be done in groups of maybe 2, 3, or 4, as well as individual projects. We may have graded activities during tutorial. Alright? As well as just now I mentioned about tutorial participation. Now, tutorial participation would mean that during class, just now I did tell you, right, we encourage one another to learn together as a team. Alright? Contribute your ideas effectively in a class. Well, if you are late for class or disrespectful, it may impact your participation mark. Now in NIAN, when we mark attendance, if a student is late for class, the tutor will mark the student absent. Okay? Later on, I'll touch on debarment, which means some students, because of attendance, they are debarred from taking the exam. That means they cannot take the exam. Alright? And of course, we will have final exam. Now, not all modules will have final exam. Some modules are continuous assessment, meaning that you don't have an exam at the end. Alright? You are assessed along the way. Alright? Okay, how to read your timetable? By now, do you know how to read your timetable? Yes, okay, very good. So this is, in summary, what you see, right? So I let you figure out. L stands for lecture, like a big lecture hall. T is tutorial. W is workshop. Right? I think you can still have these three, right? Okay? Now a workshop could mean 2 classes combined. It depends on what kind of workshop. Okay? And then your lessons are mainly in our general office block. What block is that called? Our BA block. What's that block called? Block 72. Yes. And where is the general office? Which level? Very good. Level 9. Yeah. So level 9 is the place where you need to submit your MC and so on. Level 9. Yeah? So if you need to find your lecturer, how do you find your lecturer? How do you find your lecturer? You go to level 9. There is a directory there, and there's a phone beside the directory. You can use the phone and dial the extension number. Or during lecture, the tutor may give you the email addresses. You can actually write an email to them. If you need to fix an appointment, please do so. Arrange for an appointment. Don't just come. You may not be able to find your lecturers because they all have classes to run, right? Okay, so you have to fix your own appointment. Okay, so this is the timetable, how to read. Now, all of you are given the timetable at the beginning of the semester, right? Now, we have something called self-select. What does self-select mean? You choose your timetable, right? Do you like to choose the timetable? Yes? Okay. So we will give you the option to self-select. That will start in level 2. Level 2, alright? Level 2, you are given the option. So look out for notices. We will tell you, we give you the instruction how to self-select and when. There's a window for you to self-select. Huh? No change is permitted after the selection. Okay? So decide which one you want and go in and select your timetable. Okay, this is something very important. Some of the lecturers may have told you, we have something called BA White Space Week. Okay, white means what? Clear, right? It's clear. So what are we going to do for this BA White Space Week? 1st to 7th June is our White Space Week. No lecture, tutorials, practical and workshop for BA modules. However, IS module is ongoing. You know IS, just now I mentioned about IS. Okay, so IS will still go on. It only applies to BA. It's for you to catch up with your schoolwork project or participate in any enrichment. Just now I mentioned about enrichment activities. We will hold the enrichment activities during the White Space Week so that you have time, alright, to go for your enrichment activities. Now, overseas trip may also be held during this week. I mentioned about the 3-day study trip, right? For course accounting in year 2, it will be held during White Space Week, alright? E-learning. Okay, BA also have a week called E-learning week. So in this year, this semester is 29 June to 5th July. What is e-learning? I'm sure you also have e-learning in secondary school, right? Am I right? Secondary school, do you have e-learning? Yeah. So you don't have to go to school, right? Okay, so happy, right? Don't have to come to school. What do? You will have some online activities and assignments. So your tutors will give you instruction what to do, what to submit for that week. Alright? Now please take note, this e-learning week is BA e-learning week. It's not IS. So IS will still continue. Alright? Okay, now something very important. How are you going to compute your GPA? Alright? Your grade point, right? Now, what happened is all modules or most modules will be graded. AD stands for distinction. So we have distinction, we have A, alright, we have B, C, D, E, and F. Got E or not? Do you think we have E? No. Okay, so what happened is, let me bring you through. We have what we call a current GPA. Current means pertaining to that semester. Cumulative means up to that point. So let's say if you are in year 2 first semester, which means you have completed 3 semesters, the cumulative will be cumulative for all the 3 semesters. You follow? Okay? So current refers to only that particular semester. Cumulative means as at that point in time. So what does it mean? You have to be very consistent in your good grades if you want to have good GPA, because we look at cumulative GPA. Alright? So what is our grading system? A plus and AD. There is no difference between A plus and AD. It will be a full point of 4. Full score is 4. Okay? B plus 3.5. B is 3. C plus is 2.5. C is 2. C plus is 1.5 and D is 1. So is there any E? No. If you get F, 0. That's right. F is 0. Okay, now, do you understand this one? Okay, so I'm going to move on to explain to you how do we compute cumulative or GPA, alright, for that semester. Now, assuming, okay, let's look at this computation. Assuming we have module A, B, C, D, E, F, 6 modules. Now, credit unit, some are 4, some are lesser. Now, what does it mean for credit unit? Credit unit will depend on the number of hours in terms of tutorial and lecture spent on that module. For example, your core BA module is likely to be 4 CU, but IS modules are likely to be 2 CU. Get it? It depends on the depth of the content, alright? So, core modules likely to be 4, IS 2. So that's where you get the CU. So it is assigned to that module. Grade, assuming a student gets AD, just now I mentioned AD, AD is a full score. So he will get 4 points, grade point 4. Follow? If a student gets C+, it's 2.5. And you pointed out, if somebody score F, 0 point. Some modules, pass or fail, that one is not in the computation. One example of such module is 2 months internship, right? It's only pass or fail, so there's no CU, there's no GPA awarded. Now the last column that you see, how do I get 16? This is CU multiplied by grade point. I get 16 because this module A is 4 CU, and I get AD, which means I get 2.4. 4 times 4, 12, 16. 16. 4 times 4, 16. Module B, this is to test whether you're awake or not, right? Module B, CU 5, and I get A as well, I get 4 points. So 4 times 5 give me 20, right? Okay, next example. Now if you have module D, can you see 4 CU, and you score C plus 2.5, that means 4 times 2.5 gives you 10, right? So with this column, what do? We sum up all the CU figure, CU times grade point, as the numerator. And what do we divide? We divide by total CU for the semester. And how do I get total CU? I will get it from the first column here, right? After the module, 4 plus 5 plus 5 plus 4 plus 2 plus 3. So in other words, it's like a weighted kind of CU. So you will get 3.05 GPA for that semester. Clear? So this is how we assess the student. So if a student gets a full point 4, means what? What's the meaning of 4? That means all the modules A's, that's right. It can be A, it can be A plus, it can be AD, right? Because they're all the same. There's no difference between A plus and AD. Who score 4? Okay, clear? Very clear? Okay, so now, I'm going to move on to something more serious now. What happens if a student fails a module? You want to know? I hope you won't be in that category, right? But I have to let you know first. Now, if a student fails a module, straight away, the student will become what we call a non-mainstream, because you cannot take the same set of modules as a mainstream student, right? So a non-mainstream student, you would definitely not given the opportunity to choose your timetable. Just now I mentioned about self-select timetable year 2. If a student is non-mainstream, the student has no self-select. Okay? You are likely to be assigned different class group for different modules. That means you won't stay in the class. Why? Because just now I mentioned about prerequisite, right? If let's say you fail FFA, then you cannot do certain modules, right? So that's where you cannot belong to the same class. You may not be able to go out on 6 months internship. This is something very important, right? Just now I mentioned about one of the pathways. Now if a student fails a particular module, he or she may be put on a business option to do 2 months and then stay back to do the rest of the modules, right? The cluster module for business. So that the student can speed up a little bit for the 5th module. That's the reason, alright? So the student sometimes may graduate later. So technically your course is a 3-year course. But if a student fails something along the way, the student may take 3.5 years. I see the face now so grouchy. You need to use 3.5 years. But you know that our graduation is only once a year. Every May we will have our graduation at the MP Convention Center. So the student will use 3.5 weeks to wait for the next graduation. Okay, serious, So if you don't clear a module, it can be very, very serious. It can be very serious, right? So what happened is, I mentioned about responsibility. You take responsibility of your learning. There are available help given to you. Alright, you can seek tutors' help. You can ask your friend. Sometimes we have peer tutoring as well. The second and third years may be recruited for a particular module to help weaker students. Yeah? Okay, so proper time management. Attend all lectures. Now, I'm going to give a very stern warning here. Because we do meet up with parents and students. I hope not. We do meet up with parents and students when the student is giving us some problems in terms of attendance. Attend all tutorials and lectures. You must have consistent work in order to get good GPA, right? Because I mentioned about the cumulative GPA. Consult tutor, or you can attend peer tutoring, like what I mentioned. The year 2 and 3 may be recruited to help the year 1s. Alright, so you ask your tutor about it. Okay, now, sometimes for students who cannot cope with the set of modules, normally you will have 5 core and 2 IS modules for one semester. Sometimes students cannot cope for some reason. We do recognize each one of you is different, right? Some people just cannot take the heavier load because of transition, because of some problems, right? So everyone is different. We would like to give everyone the support. So what can the student opt for? The student can choose to download modules, which means when you download, you expect to be non-mainstreamer already, right? Because you cannot be the same as the main group. And then probably you use more than 3 years. Some cases, students, because they are distracted or because of academic ability or because of some problems, speak to your advisor. Just now I mentioned about advisor as your form teacher, right? So one of the ways is to download the module. This has to be done first week of term 2. Term 2 means after the 2 weeks break. You will be having your 2 weeks break somewhere in, when's your break? I'm sure this one you will know. When's your break? June, right? So when I say term 2 means after the break. When we start again, that's called term 2. Alright? Okay, now, what kind of prizes do we award? I think in secondary school you have Honours Day and so on, right? So in EAN we have prizes also. We have module book prizes. That means we award for the top module prizes. Level 1, Level 2 overall book prizes, overall prizes. Directors listing, top 10%. CPA award, I mentioned about gold, silver and bronze. Other than the normal diploma, we also award diploma with merit, meaning students who are the top 10% of the cohort. And we also have something called D+ certification. Alright? Look out for the notice. D+ certification is something on top of your normal diploma. We will encourage students who are coping well in the course to take on this D+, because this D+ will give them additional exposure, alright, in maths, econs, or report writing and quantitative methods. Alright? So look out for the announcement. Okay, stay in touch. Now, all of you by now, do you know that you have an email account by Nian?
Yes.
Yes. Your S something something at connect.mp.edu.sg. That's right. That is your Connect email account. So your tutors may send you email through this account. Please check it regularly. There's mail, there's notice board, and there's BA web as well as student service, MPEL student service for you, alright? Now all these are just administrative. I will just have the slides up for you to refer to if you need to refer. Alright, so all these are some of the places that you can get. Now I'm going to move on to expectation. Maybe I'll give you a 5 minutes break. Okay.